What's going on? Welcome to QVO Games. My name is Juan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. This week's video is going to be up the games coming to retail the week of October 8th. We have a good lineup of games. I say that every week, but yeah, we always have some great games coming out, and always, and games are supposed to be fun, right? Like, we're supposed to talk about them and stuff, and they're supposed to be fun stuff. So, great lineup of games coming out. I'm excited to tell you about them. One of these games is definitely one that I am really excited about. It's finally hitting retail. I think I actually gave a notice in a video before saying that you may be seeing this in shelves, but now it's official that it's going to be hitting the shelves really, really soon. Let's get this video going. Keep in mind, I'm covering the games coming retail in the US. Keep that in mind. If one of these games release date changes, I'll make sure to update you about that change in its respective video. Let's show off some games. Let's get this going. First game coming out October 13th is going to be The White Castle by QVO Games. White Castle, it's going to take place in Japan. The whole setting is in Japan. I love Japanese culture and I love Japan. I love it. I'm hoping to go there soon. I have a trip planned out, but we'll talk about it later. In this game, you're going to be worker placement, a lot of worker placement, and you're going to be also managing resources. As you do so, you want to score points by doing this, and you score points by getting the mass influence of the court. And as you're going to do that by using your resources correctly in different manners, right? I think games like this are up my alley. Lost Ruins of Arnak is a worker placement resource management game, and I love that. This is a game I really, really, really want to try, really bad. I love the box art. The components look super cool. I can't even explain it now. That looks pretty nice and organized, too. It doesn't look so messy. It is a Euro game. Keep that in mind. So keep that in mind when you're searching for this game. This is a game I am excited to check out. It's going to be White Castle by QVO Games, coming out on October 13th. Coming up next by Hachette and Scorpion Mask is going to be Sky Team. Sky Team's coming out October 13th. This game specifically, I've talked about many times. It was at a Gen Con, of course. I didn't manage to get a copy. I think the game sold out pretty quick. And in this game, it's a two-player cooperative game, and you're going to be trying to land a plane. That's kind of the thing. And there's different scenarios, of course, that add variability to the game as you're playing it. In the game itself, you're going to be managing dice, and you're going to be hiding your screen from the enemy, from your partner who is trying to help you land the plane. When you're hiding your boards, as you kind of scroll down the pictures here, you're placing dice essentially in different spots, and you want to aim, of course. I am not a pilot in that sense, so the terms kind of come different to me. But you're going to try, when you place your dice, you're trying to match up specific functions of landing the plane. And usually you know and have an idea as you play the game, like, okay, so we got to do this, we got to adjust the landing, adjust this part, adjust the wings, all this different stuff. But you're doing that, of course, in a cooperative setting with different scenarios. And the scenarios kind of like you're landing in different airports. So there's different forms of landing when you're landing in different airports around the world. Super cool concept. I think it's awesome. I want to try it out. I love a good cooperative game, and it's a two-player game. So that's great when someone comes over and no one else showed up for game night. You just bust out Sky Team and you play a two-player game. Sky Team by Hachette and Scorpion Mask, coming out to you on October 13th. Keep in mind, actually, now that we're talking about it, one quick thing before we move on. October 13th is coming out to like the retail, right? The retail market, as in like a local flagship local gaming store. There's also a October 18th date when they're going to be shipping from Hachette directly. Keep that in mind. Moving on to our next game, coming out on October 13th is going to be Marvel Zombies by Simon, Spin Master, everybody else is on the box at this point. It's a zombicide game. I've talked about this game countless times. I have a copy behind me. I believe you can see it in the video. And you can also, this game I talked about saying that it's already kind of coming out to the mass retail market. I saw copies at different stores, and I'm like, huh. And it's not like a flagship local gaming store who's getting Kickstarter copies. I saw like retail copies at like Barnes & Noble who sells board games. It was just like interesting because the backers haven't gotten the games. Moving on, Marvel Zombies. If you're familiar with Zombicide games, it's a dice chucking game with a map, usually scenario-based is how you go on about it. But you're playing as your favorite Marvel. Well, you're playing as the zombies going up against like the Marvel superheroes, the ones who aren't zombified or aren't undead, I guess, if you can call it that. And you're facing a lot of shield agents who are just like the grunts, right? Grunts. In this game, you're playing as the zombies going up against them, and your characters are zombified. There's also an expansion that flips it. So if you want to play against the zombies, you'll play as the heroes, and the heroes go up against the zombies instead, which is a lot of fun. Different expansions coming out. There's a lot of content for this game. I should have a lot of it coming in, actually, and I'm definitely going to do some coverage. I have the game already, but I'm waiting for a couple more things before I start doing more with this, just because I want to make it a series of videos. In Marvel Zombies, Dice checking game, you're going to go in a scenario on a map. A lot of cool items you're going to be hunting for. You can loot and get different items, as well as there's no really progression system, but different items you collect give you different abilities. A +2 in this, a +1 in that. Oh, re-roll dice, do this. It has different things with items depending on what you pick up, which is fun. Usually these games, the Zombicide games, there is a lot of them. There is a lot of Zombicide games. There's different ones. The Black Plague one, the Green Horde. There's one that's in space. I don't know them all. Oh, wow, the Western one. Usually with these games, I pick one, right? Like, and I decided I got rid of all my other all my other Zombicide games. I got rid of, and it's like, it's just there's only gonna be one. And I love Marvel. I love comic books. I love superheroes. So this is the one I'm keeping. The differentiating thing about this one and the other ones, I mean, the characters are more familiar, I guess. They're from IPs, right? An established IP, and it's a Marvel, of course. And with that, keeping that in mind, it's just like a really no-brainer for me to keep. The reason why I'm having trouble explaining this is because I want to explain this also in your eyes, but I'm also giving out my opinion about it, right? If you do not like Marvel, maybe go with the Black Plague. If you don't like dice checking games where like you're rolling dice to determine damage, which is a lot of luck, involves a lot of luck, maybe this game isn't for you, right? Like that's maybe Zombicide as a whole isn't for you. If you don't like Marvel, then pick out a different one. I think these games are fun when you go in and it's a little bit mindless, right? The game isn't hard to pick up. It's not a complex game. It's a cooperative game. You all go in, you play a scenario or like the story or the campaign that they have there in the book, in the rule book, and you go through and you play through the whole thing. That is like a fun. Bust out some like cold ones, have some fun pizza or snacks or chicken wings or french fries. Of course, being careful with your board, but like maybe eat it away from the table, which is usually what I do. We have a breakfast bar, so we eat there, play the game on the table. And that's kind of like, that's what this game is. It just embodies that level of fun. And that's what I see it as. It's mindless. You're not thinking too much about it. You're just kind of tucking dice, playing as one of your favorite characters, have it be a zombie, or if you have the expansion, flip it around, play it as like the hero at that point. That's what it is for me. I love it. It's a fun cooperative game. You bust it out, you have fun, you play through it, and it's fun. Especially since I got all the content. I mean, it's going to be a lot of stuff. And I say that because like I have all the content for like a lot of CMON games. I just love miniatures as well. Love a good mini, and this one has awesome minis. Marvel Zombies coming out on October 13th by CMON and Spinmaster Games. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the expansions. So, a bunch of expansions coming out October 13th as well. Guardians of the Galaxy. If you love Guardians of the Galaxy, this is going to throw in some more heroes for you and some more villains to play as. Thanos is going to be here, the Man Titan. They're also going to be as the Clas Sinister 6. This specific expansion also includes a team versus team mode, which is kind of fun because it changes it up a little bit. A little bit of a team versus team, and you add in, of course, Sinister 6, as well as one of my favorite villains from the series, Venom, of course, in the game. Venom is in the game as well from this expansion. And moving on to the next one, there's also going to be Hydra Resurrection, which adds a bunch of unique bosses and minions to fight against as you're playing. Super cool stuff. More content and more content. Marvel Zombies, Fantastic Four Under Siege. This one is going to add in the Fantastic Four. And it's going to add in Doctor Doom, of course, who is like a very popular, famous villain in the Marvel series. And you're going to be able to play against them as well. So it adds a little more variety. Pick up the ones that you like. Maybe you like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Pick that one up. Maybe you like Fantastic Four. Pick that one up. The game itself, the base game is $130. And it comes with plenty of content to play. If you can play through 10, 15, I believe, almost scenarios, and even they're replayable, of course. You play with different friends and such. You can probably maybe stick with that for a while and then consider buying maybe an expansion, right? Buying one of the expansions. This game's going to be around for a long time. Marvel, I don't think, is going anywhere. They have like all their movies and stuff and all their TV shows and such. So I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And you're going to be able to pick this up later. I can also already picture and imagine another Marvel Zombies Kickstarter campaign coming out. They're going to milk this IP to the best ability, which is good on them. Good on me because I'm a fan. Marvel Zombies and its expansions all coming out October 13th. Look into it. Find out. Be a smart consumer. Buy and be responsible. Don't buy all of them if you're not going to play them all and have them on a shelf and never playing them in plastic. Keep that in mind. Awesome. We are at the end of the video. We're at the end of the video. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate it. This is some interesting stuff I dove more into telling you a little more about the game and how I feel about it. And if like being a smart consumer, right? This game for itself, the hobby itself can be really expensive. And sometimes you buy a lot of games that you may play once or twice and never play again. So it's always good. I feel when I make these videos, I keep in mind, make smart decisions. Do not go into depth, of course, buying a game. Play your games you have already. Love them, adore them. There are so many games that I have on my shelf that I wish I would play more often, and that's why I end up calling stuff, right? So always be a smart consumer. When I make these videos, I'm gonna try to add more information for you guys to just kind of make smarter decisions when you buy a game. Keep it like maybe a game lacks variability, and I noticed that, right? Like it lacks more scenarios. It's like a really simple game that really doesn't have much depth to it, and it's pretty expensive sometimes. Like some games can be pretty expensive, and the cost per play can be not as good, honestly. It just doesn't work out. So that's going to be more into this video, and we're going to add more of that stuff in and talk about that stuff. That's why I went deeper into the expansion, just because I like everything. I want everything. And when it comes to an IP like this, I am going to have everything because I like it. But someone like you, who maybe you're not a big fan like that about Marvel, or have that, I guess you could call bias almost, but I would definitely give you my real opinion about things. But it's always something to consider to not get everything and just get specific things, right? Be a smarter consumer, so that way, be a smarter consumer, and that way you can also enjoy the games you already have. There are a lot of games on my shelf, and this is going to be a video within itself, a conversational video, that I wish I would play more often. And that's kind of another reason why these videos come out, right? There's games that I wish I would play more often, but when there's so many new games coming out in the life of a content creator, you really don't always have time. That's the end of my rant about that. That has to be a separate video itself. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for making it this far. I appreciate it. Let me know what you're buying this week if you are buying any game. If you're saving up to buy a specific game, or you're putting money away to buy a game that isn't on this list, let me know. I want to know. I would love to know what you're buying. That's always fun to talk about, what games you're interested in and what games you kind of have your eye on as well. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. Have a good one.